Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om. From morning till this time, we had Satsang. Many of our friends in Chennai had come here. The base text was last week, Ramdas. We were able to cover only 2 chapters, but there was an in-depth study of the various wisdom teachings of Bhagwan. So after that, straight away we are now sitting before you. Come on.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Anjavadi and Tapovan Swami. 34.
1 minute, please. I can't hear. Yes.
Panchavadi and Tapovan. 34 chapter.
Panchavadi
and Tapovan. 34 Swami.
Chapter number?
34.
Page number 144 Swamiji.
பழைய புக்ல 146.
One minute. Tell me.
அதுல 2-3 இடத்துல கொஞ்சம் சுவாமிஜி கிளாரிஃபை பண்ணணும். வந்து அவரு முதல்ல வந்து ஒரு க்ஷேத்திரல போறார். அது படிக்கிறீங்களா சுவாமிஜி? ஃபுல்லா அந்த 2-3 கொஸ்டின் இருக்கு. அது நீங்க படிக்கிறீங்களா? பஞ்சவடி வாசுதி அதுல 2-3
Ramdas saw the beautiful river Godavari, on the banks of which there are a number of kshetras for feeding sadhus and for pilgrims. To one of these he directed his steps. On the veranda of a kshetra he found a number of bairagis, mendicant mothers and children. Here he, as prompted by Ram, opened the parcel of fruit given to him by brother Ramakrishna Rao, emptied the cloth in which they were tied by distributing them all among the small children in that place. This relieved him of a pretty heavy burden.
அப்ப இது கூட அவ அண்ணா தந்த ஒரு ஃப்ரூட்ஸ் கூட அவன் தனக்காக வச்சுக்கவில்லை சுவாமிஜி. அதாக்க நினைக்கிறேன். வழியில போகும்போது நம்ம என்னென்ன எடுத்துட்டு போறோம், அவ தந்ததை வேண்டான்னு சொல்றது இல்லை. பட் அங்க போனோம்னா அந்த குழந்தைகளுக்கு டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்றாரு. ஒண்ணு அது ஒரு இது. அது கழிஞ்சு அவரு ஒரு சாப்பாடு அந்த இடத்துக்கு போறார். அவர் போகும்போது அங்க சாப்பாடு எல்லாம் முடிஞ்சிட்டு அவள் எல்லாம் கையை தொடச்சுட்டு வரா. அப்போ ஒருத்தர் வந்து அவர்கிட்ட சொல்ற, என்ன வந்து நீ சாப்பிட்டையான்னு கேக்குற. இல்லை, ஆனா அத பத்தி எனக்கு ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை. எப்போ ராமநாமம் இருக்கு அப்போ எனக்கு அது ஃபுட்டு பத்தி எனக்கு கவலையே இல்லைங்கிறார் சுவாமிஜி. ஒரு செய்திட்டு இருப்பாரு. அது நீங்க படிச்சாதான் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா இருக்கும் சுவாமிஜி.
சாதாரண நமக்கு வேண்டப்பட்டவா தப்புன்னா நமக்கு சென்டிமெண்டல் அட்டாச்மெண்ட் அதே வரும். சென்டிமெண்டல் அட்டாச்மெண்ட் முடி என் பப்பாவுக்கு இல்லை பீரியட்ல. அப்ப அதுவும் ஒரு டெஸ்ட் ஆகும் பகவான் தரது. அவள்கிட்ட வாங்கறதே ஒண்ணும் இல்லை. வாங்கின பிறகு அவர் அது ஒரு ஹெவி பேர்டனா தோணிருக்கு அவருக்கு. அதானது என்னன்னா பொசஷன் சொல்றது அவருக்கு அந்த கிளாரிட்டி வந்தா தவிர possession, whether it is big or small, to him it was a heavy burden. And he was free from sentimental attachment, even when it was given to him by his brother. With all love, he insisted that he should take. But even then, he did not use, not only he did not take it, but also saw to it that it was distributed to others. And then felt relieved of that burden. It is something, something you have to keep on thinking about it. That means, outwardly we need not wound anybody, but inwardly we will not accept anything. And we will see that the beneficiary is somebody else. Outwardly we should not, with all love when they give. But at the same time, when we are steadfast in the vow of non-possession. Because he has taken a vow at the time of sannyas that henceforth he will be purely on Viksha. What is that word? The body be maintained and set upon the food procured by Viksha or on what was offered as alms. So here, he was very particular about it. So that means our steadfastness in holding on to the vow we have taken, number one. Number two, to completely rise above even the sentimental attachment. And number four, no, it has been given to us to distribute to somebody else, not throwing it out. So many lessons. Yes. Then
அவர் உட்கார்ந்து இருக்கார், நேரம் ஆயிடுது. அப்புறமா ஒரு சாப்பாட்டுக்காக ஒரு விஷயத்துல போற எல்லாரும் சாப்பிட்டு கையளமிந்து வந்துருக்கா. அப்போ ஒருத்தர் பார்த்து பேசுறாரு, நீங்க சாப்பிடலான்னா இல்லை, இப்ப நான் உங்களுக்கு சாப்பாட்டுக்கு வேண்டி குடிச்சின்னு போறீங்கல்ல, கவலையே படாதீங்க. So Papa told us, when Ram Bhajan is on the lips of Ramdas, he is always far from such anxiety. கொஞ்சம் கழிஞ்சு 2-3 பேரா கழிஞ்சிட்டு அப்புறமா அங்கேயும் சாப்பிட்டு
anxiety for the future, anxiety for the existence, anxiety for everything, you know. Naturally, the anxiety for the future is zero. He was not at all upset. Because every moment he knew that God will provide each necessary. God has asked him to take up this yatra. So God knows where to, how to provide and provide not. In which, he was thoroughly convinced, grounded, established, steady.
அந்த paragraph படிங்க சுவாமிஜி. Meals were offered at this kshetra.
Ram takes care at every step. His concern for his devotees is 1,000 times more keen and lively than that of the mother for her newborn baby. Ram now hands Ramdas into the hands of a retired merchant. So on the 3-4 words, it is very touching. That means, unless and until we are always conscious that he is taking care of us, he is holding our hand, he is looking after us, that should become what you call concretized. He is sending us this message to us. Your sadhana becomes fruitful or successful only when this gets stabilized in your mind. And how do we get stabilized? He makes us to pass through so many tests, so many situations where practically you are zero, you cannot have anything, but at the same time he mysteriously provides. He may provide, he may not provide also. In that case also it is okay for him. It is something, he asks us what extent we have been able to. Just before this, starting, we were reading the Namasmaran from Dastik. There also the same thing is mentioned by Papa. If we go through the first one, then we come to know that we are far away from what is expected of us. Hari.
அதுல இருக்கு சுவாமிஜி அந்த சாப்டர்.
All sadhanas is for keeping remembrance of God unbroken. All sadhanas is for keeping remembrance of God unbroken. Remembrance is darshan. Easiest way is to take the name of God constantly. The name is the link between the devotee and God. It brings the devotee face to face with him and enables him to realize oneness with him. Namasmaran is capable of granting the universal vision by which one sees everything as God. When you take the name, you are taking the name of the Lord who dwells in your own heart. So in the Satsang, finally everybody concluded, that we have not been able to do anything on these lines. Though for decades now we have been chanting. First is remembrance, we are not remembering Him. Second is, we don't feel that it is a link between us and Him. Third is, we are nowhere near the universal vision. And the fourth is, when we take the name, we don't feel that we are taking the name who dwells in our heart. So in this satsang, when we started going deeply, previously we were reading it and it was nice. Papa's words are nice, he used to quote. But today what happened was from 2 o'clock to, or 2:30 to 3:40, this was the subject. So suddenly we look at ourselves. What are we doing under the banner of chanting? It gives us some joy, no doubt. But in this case, all these things, it sticks. So now the time has come for all of us to think. When we say that Papa was able to accept every situation cheerfully, how was it possible? Because he was able to maintain the God remembrance that He will protect. He has been protecting and He will protect us. His concern, Ram takes care at every step. His concern for His devotee is 1,000 times more keen and lively than that of the mother of her newborn baby.
You have the wire for
it. Very important, the relationship between the mother and the newborn baby is the closest. But after some time, when the child can express by itself, it gets diluted. But here, the mother knows anything and everything. We have to think about the child. The child will not be able to give up, excepting a crying, And she can understand the language. To us it may be crying, but to her it is not crying. Yesterday when we were traveling from Dindigul to Chennai, in the seat occupied just in front of us, there is a mother and her children. The small child, newborn baby, might be about say less than a year. Every now and then the child will cry. But we have been watching. The mother takes the child, goes for a walk in the compartment, goes from one seat to another, taps the window, makes some sound, trying to divert the attention of the child to something that is flying, that is outside, patiently. And so the relationship between the mother and the newborn baby is something mothers can easily understand. We people can at least observe, So Papa says, God is more. His concern for His devotee is 1,000 times more keen and lively than that of the mother for her newborn baby. So this remembrance has become a reality in Him. Otherwise He will not be able to say that. Whereas we are also trying to remember Him through chanting. So now we have slowly started realizing what all we have to add while chanting. What all we have to do while non-chanting. Unless and until there is a harmonious blend of these two, our chanting will not become effective. Chanting for chanting's sake. So this is the message he gives, We should be able to enjoy that God is taking care of us. We should be able to enjoy with the realization that God is taking care of us more than an earthly mother to his newborn baby. If that has to come to us, we should be able to remember. That alone can free us from anxiety for the future. free from insecurity, free from uncertainty. So today the in-depth study of IQG again reminds us of this. It is not just we say, oh, Papa was a blessed soul, he was able to do it. No. Papa wants every one of us to reach that stage. Every day he is giving us some message by prompting the devotees to dig out something from this book. And it's a very powerful Panchavati and Tapovan, yes. So the first thing was when he felt even a love offering given by his brother in the form of some eatable, because he will not accept any money. On those days, Papa was not accepting any money. We had even heard that even when his brother asked him to sit in a thatched shed near Kasargod, he was not touching money. When somebody sent an MO on those days, it was returned back. Only after setting up Anandashram, the present Anandashram, Papa changed the rule, that's all. He was accepting money for the sake of the institution. So that is why the brother, because he did not accept money, so he gave him love offering in the form of eatable. Because he has to travel a lot. Papa did not touch anything. And then immediately after getting down, he distributed. And he says, this relieved him of a pretty heavy burden. Ram's order is always not to worry about food and clothing. Okay, then somebody says, when Ram Bhajan is on the lips of Ramdas, he is always fast with anxiety. Later meals were offered in Kshetra. Ram takes care at every step. His concern for his devotee is 1,000 times more keen and lively than that of the mother for her newborn baby.
Again, after another text, இன்னொரு டெஸ்டும் இருக்கு. அடுத்து வருது இன்னும் அவருக்கு இன்னும்
without his knowledge, this kind friend would cover Ramdas with a blanket, since he would not accept kambal when offered. The cold on the banks of the Godavari at that time was extreme. At the pressure of this merchant friend, Ramdas remained with him for 2 days. During the second night, the friend questioned him if he had cultivated powers of inducing dreams. Ramdas replied that he was quite ignorant of the sadhana and he only knew how to utter the name of Ram. You can do it if you wish, Guruji, said the friend. Just for instance, desire intensely to know from Ram the winning numbers of the next derby sweep, and the number will be made known to you in a dream. Ramdas requires none and nothing else but Ram, replied Ramdas. You see, the amount that might be won is not for selfish purpose, but for feeding sadhus, suggested the friend. Papa's returned. Ram sees to the feeding of the sadhus. The friend then became silent. This was again a test of Ram to find out if Ramdas could be tempted to wish for wealth. The mind will bring so many justification. After all, I am earning only for others. So I am justified. Whatever be the means. But here, since he had no inclination to have anything to do with wealth, because why? Because Ram will take care. Ram has been taking care and Ram will take care if at all anything is needed. So that's why he said, even the feeding he takes care. So only when there is a lack of faith, the sense of insecurity comes, the sense of planning comes, the sense of uncertainty or anxiety comes. This is something for all of us to think deeply. So the only way is to somehow develop unquestionable unshakable faith in him. We would have failed. We would not have been able to have that faith. Doesn't matter. Now, Papa, through by making us an in-depth study of IQG during this centenary year, he is making us all these points to us. Try. Salpam apyasya dharmasya. Even if you do little, that is okay. So we will try in our own way. We will not just simply read and go. In our own way, we will try to see that the faith is getting stabilized in us. That means, we have to evaluate every now and then, are we free from anxieties, uncertainties, insecurities? That means that we are moving towards this presence, this remembrance.
Swamiji,
Good.
So I remember one incident in Papa's life which may or may not be connected with IQG. Papa had the darshan of Lord Krishna. Papa had described briefly about the Lord Krishna's form appeared before him. Papa told Lord Krishna that he was not satisfied only with that form which will come and go. He prayed to the Lord to bless him so that he can see him in his entire creation. I think Papa's message is we should not stick on only to the external form. Because it is told we should not only depend on Guru's external form, One day he will pass away. Like that one message was there, So this also, when he meets Lord Krishna, means darshan is getting, he is telling us this thing, his opinion.
Yes. He wanted that universal vision, He makes a mention about universal vision. Universal vision can be had only when we are able to see the same thing in everybody initially we may try to pin our faith on some form, but later on, as spiritual aspirants, we should be able to transcend it. That is what Papa said, I don't want to have this form which will come and go. I want something that will have stays with me. Stays with me means whether this form or that form. He is there in all forms. I should be able to become aware of him in all forms. Which is called universal vision. Yes, coming back to IQG again. So the idea is, this particular chapter, we were all reading this chapter, but the chapter gives us a lot of message. We are praying intensely to him to give us this unshakable faith in him. So while chanting, we can also add this prayer. I am chanting your name. Enable me to have unshakable faith in you. You have been taking care of me, but I am not aware. But I believe in the words of my master. He said, you have been taking care of me. Make me aware of it. Please make me aware of it. So something like that, we should add when chanting or non-chanting time. Somehow we should associate with all these thoughts as many times as possible, so that our faith in him gets rooted and rooted. Yes.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
In continuation of that chapter number 35, Trayambakeshwar. Papa on the rock melon. Now Ramdas was standing on the brow of a tremendous precipice. The bottom of the hill could be seen from this place straight down vertically, many hundreds of feet below. Any attempt to walk upon the slope was a very dangerous experiment. But a strange fascination seemed to have seized Ramdas. He crept slowly upon the slope. His hold was thin, dried-up grass that grew on the hill. Both his hands were engaged in this task. He was now on the slope. It was a condition in which every moment had to be counted. But he was careless and fearless. Suddenly, The dried grass in his left hand gave way and his left foot slipped. Ramdas was even now calm and unperturbed, his lips uttering Ram's name aloud. It was rather a very severe test on Ram's powers of protection. But nothing is impossible for the all-powerful Ram. Ramdas' other hand was then grasping a stone which was also a little shaky. By a concentration of all strength, at this point he recovered his balance and drew up the leg that had slipped. This became all possible by the aid of Ram alone. It was Ram alone who pulled him up. இது நீங்க இப்ப சொன்னாலே அதே மாதிரி நமக்கு அன்ஷேக்கபிள் ஃபெய்த் அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷனை இமேஜின் பண்றதுல நம்மளுக்கு அதை இமேஜின் பண்ண முடியல. அது அந்த மாதிரி அன்ஷேக்கபிள் ஃபெய்த் நம்மளுக்கு பப்பா கொடுக்கணும் சுவாமிஜி. நீங்க சொல்லுங்களேன், இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் கூட எலாபரேட்டா சொல்லுங்க.
நேற்று விளையாட்டுகள்லாம் வந்தாச்சு
வந்தாச்சு நீங்க திருப்பி திருப்பி அடிச்சு
Swamiji. Yes, Swamiji. Padma here. I want to tell you, I wanted to ask you the same about faith, and I have actually mailed you something about it. Okay, to know. நீங்க பாக்கல, ஆனா Papa has given me the answer through you since yesterday. Even without seeing the mail, yesterday also you spoke about faith, today also you spoke about faith. So I got the answer. Even if you don't reply, I got the answer. Thank you, Swamiji.
Because I was on the travel, I couldn't go through. Nowadays I don't see all emails. Shraddha will mark, but your email it must have been marked. Today I will do it. Anyway, no explanation is necessary since you got it, but I will just look at it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Swamiji. Pranam, Swamiji.
Pranam, tell me.
28th, Swamiji. Chapter 28, Raipur.
28th, Raipur.
Swamiji. Page number 109. Page number 109.
Tell me.
This is Dada. This young Muslim and Papa. Young Muslim inquired. Yes, sir. I have Ramdas now sat up and inquired what he wanted. I have come to have a chat with you. I want to know if you have faith in Muhammad. Inquired the young friend. Why not? He is one of the greatest prophets of God. Replied Ramdas. Why do you say one of the prophets? Why not the only one? Put in the Muslim friend. Young brother, although Muhammad is a world teacher, there are others also who are as great teachers. For instance, Buddha, Jesus Christ, and Krishna. And in our days, Mahatma Gandhi. If you would try to understand the message they delivered to the world, you would find that in the essential they all agree and hold up the same goal to mankind. Lastly, Swamiji, he asked something from one thing from Papa. Ramdas told him that he was quite willing to give him anything he had with him, that he had only to ask for what he wanted. The kind friend then asked for the deerskin, and it was at once handed over to him. He said while receiving it, my object in having this skin is to perform my namaz, that is prayers to Allah, sitting upon it. And it will also remind me of you every time. Remind me means Papa's teaching, Swamiji.
Remind me of you every time. Yes, Papa.
Papa, kindly give some.
In the first one, first of all, when we keep on trying to dwell on the universal vision, we will not limiting anybody to anything. Though we accept everybody as equal, we don't limit. So that is why the so-called religious wrangles drop off. But equal vision. Why equal vision? They are all great teachers. They are all great teachers because so many people are following, it's the truth. So many people are deriving benefit from it. So many may be misusing it. That doesn't mean that it has got anything to do with the teachers. People who are not matured enough, who are ignorant of the real philosophy, they may interpret and they may be doing something which is not in line with our social order. But at the same time, as a spiritual aspirant, as a spiritual children of Papa, we try to maintain this in our mind. That God has got His own purpose in motivating the Mahatmas to bring out or interpret the philosophy of life in different ways, suiting to the different climes and places. So that was how he developed this universal vision. That is why he was able to say, and immediately, normally, the question was, why do you say one of the prophets, why not the only one? No? When he rationalized the whole thing, because that is because of the conviction he had. It is not for argument. And that the word produced a deep impression upon the mind of the Muslim press. It's immediately changed, Yes, Swami. The conversation continued for some time with regard to Ramdas's experience. So then, finally, he told him that he was quite willing to give him anything he had. He wanted to be with Papa. Ramdas told him he should not do, as he had no orders from Ram to take him with him. That one particular clarification from Papa made him to immediately leave everything and join Papa. Think about it. Yes, sir. So Ramdas told him that he should not do. After some persuasion, he was induced to give up the idea. But he wanted something from Ramdas as a memento. Ramdas told him that he was quite willing to give him anything he had with him, that he had only to ask for what he wanted. The kind friend then asked for the deer skin, and it was at once handed over to him. He said, by receiving it, my object is, that also, he use it for remembering God through his namak, and also to remember him. When he remembers, he will also remember the words of God. Yes, so when we read message to us is that we should also try to have this universal vision. At the same time, holding on to our life. Universal vision does not mean that we will not be adhering to one particular line of approach. While holding on to our own line of approach, we accept and adore everybody. Otherwise, we will be nowhere. It's very important. He did not give up Ramnam. He did not give up any of his sadhana. Though he was having this universal vision of accepting every order, every faith, every system of approach. But one should be rooted in one approach. That is very, very important. Otherwise, we will not reach anywhere. That is another message for all of us. Yes, then.
Navji, excuse me, I could give some of them, I want to ask one thing. So, Papa on the Mahatma Gandhi பார்த்துட்டு ஏதாவது இருக்கா சார் இன்சிடென்ட் ஸ்பெஷல் இன்சிடென்ட் இருக்கா மகாத்மா காந்தி பத்தி பப்பா மகாத்மா காந்திஜிய இப்போது மீட் பண்ணிருக்காரா ஏதாவது இன்சிடென்ட் நடந்திருக்கா மகாத்மா காந்திஜிய பப்பா எப்பாவது மீட் பண்ணிருக்காரா சாதனா பேர் இருந்தால மகாத்மா காந்திஜிய எங்கேயா பார்க்கவோ ஏதாவது செய்திருக்காரா
மகாத்மா காந்தியை மீட் பண்ணிருக்காரு Mahatma Gandhi, one among the many he has met. And he has mentioned that was the first spiritual touch. In Bangalore, when he was passing through the severest crisis, and at that time, Mahatma Gandhi came to Bangalore, and according to Google report, which we collected later, it was that more than 10,000 people had assembled for that program on those days. It must be in 1920. So at that time, Vittal Rao was one among the many. From a distance he could see. So he has returned. Though at a distance he could see Mahatma, an inexplicable experience he received. And that was the first spiritual touch towards God.
Because I shared it, but I want to clear.
Putting two and two together, Mahatmaji was a great votary of Ramnam. And his Ramnam was Ram, Ram, Ram. That is why Papa must have started chanting Ram, 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 Ram initially. Then he switched over to Qadar. He started spinning. Somewhere we remember he also joined the International Congress at that time, Freedom Movement. Then he withdrew from that, then started concentrating on sadhana. And Gandhiji's talk, yes, once we were able to also locate, Papa was getting hydrogen, the magazine edited by Gandhiji. We had a lot of old copies. Then we came to know that Papa was a regular reader of all Gandhian thoughts. So that is why he could place Gandhiji at the pedestal of all these Mahatmas. Gandhiji's universal vision, Gandhiji's austerity, Gandhiji's unshakable faith in Ram, Ramnam, and Gandhiji's adherence to all the vows. And you might have heard about the 11 brothers. He had imposed on himself, and anyone who is joining Sevagram should adopt that. So like that, his adherence, his universal vision, his transparency, his simplicity, his faith in God, his faith in Ramnam, these are all something which must have instilled a lot of faith in Papa. That is why he brings Gandhiji into the picture every now and then.
Thank you, Swamiji. Very nice.
Even the Panchavadi, you will find the banyan tree was planted on the completion of 21 days, Gandhiji's 21 days fast. So all these things are registered in his mind.
Yes.
And that's why Ashram gives a lot of importance for Gandhian thought, Gandhian philosophy, Gandhian approach.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam.
Chapter number 25, Himalayan Journey Continued.
Himalayan journey
Continued. 25.
25. Okay.
Yes. In the first two paragraphs, Papa describes the beauty of Himalayas in such a wonderful way that it appears in front of our eyes. And in the second paragraph, before last two lines, here he says, thus Ram exhibits his marvelous power. He is a mighty conjurer. Vision after vision dances and flits before your eyes, and unconsciously you fall under the subtle charm and spell of this great magician with the M capital. So this magician with the magical wand creates so many miracles in our lives. When I look back in my own life, I feel this magical wand, the touch of this magician's magical wand in my life, and that emotions well up, gratitude of this emotion well up in the heart. We don't know how to express that gratitude to this great magician. And here he shows, Papa describes that universal vision, what we're discussing just now. In the scenery, he finds the whole atmosphere is filled up with the Ram's remembrance and charged with Ram.
See, normally, when we say a magician, when a magician performs on the stage, we forget what we are and where we are. We get immersed in it, We get immersed in the performance of the magician.
Yes.
So he says, that's why he says, you forget what you are and where you are.
Yes.
You are simply absorbed and lost in the surroundings, like a wisp of smoke in a hurricane. So the he elaborately points out about the mountains, so many things. Yeah, it's nice to read always. As he walked on, he drank deeper and deeper of the splendor of Ram's infinity and was lost in the intoxication of it all. We also visit, we get some joy. We don't connect. We definitely when see a mountain, a landscape, a waterfall, a valley. Recently we were in a place called Shirumalai. Every day we go and sit on a rock and enjoy. There is something which we cannot explain. But here he also explained Ram's infinity. Especially from a road, from a mountain top. You see the town, from Shirumalai when you look down at the Dindigal town, When you are in the Dindigal town, you don't see beyond certain feet or meters. But when you look at it from the Shirumalai, the whole town, whole thing is visible. And it's a beautiful, and in the night when the light is on, it is so beautiful as if, somebody is illuminating it for Deepavali or something like that. So you can say it's magician, It might be there for some time and then go. And the thing is, we get lost in it. So we take it that we use the word magician, because the next line he says, vision after vision dances and flits before your eyes, and unconsciously you fall under the subtle charm and spell of this great magician. You forget that what you are and where you are. You are simply absorbed and lost in the surroundings, like a wisp of smoke in a hurricane. See, as spiritual sadhakas, this is a must. Every now and then, resorting to such places will definitely help us. Because otherwise, we may not know the attributes. When we look at the sky, we see the expansiveness. When we look at the ocean, we see the expansiveness. When you look from the mountain top, you see the expansiveness. Just imagine. We are thinking on a limited level, but here we think on an unlimited level. Because that is our original nature. That is why, though we are unable to express what exactly, we all say it is nice, it is excellent, it is thrilling. And everybody takes a photograph. Somebody was telling that even the evening Satsang should be, Datta was telling on the last day, you sit here, background will be the Dindigal town. Because, the joy you get, you may not be able to express what exactly it is, but the joy you get, the pleasant feeling you get is something unexplained. It can't be explained. Because there is an inner alignment that is taking place without our knowledge. The expansiveness, if there is a word, inside us, gets aligned with the expansiveness outside. So that is a must. So Papa is also now indirectly telling us, wherever such places are there and God makes you to visit, make the best use of it. And then you will find even the different types of creepers, trees, birds, little small creatures, something super. One day in our satsang, you will not be able to believe yourself. Gents were sitting on a rock, ladies were sitting on another rock, and we were sitting in between the rock where there is a big hole. And for 2-3 hours, minimum 2-3 hours we must have spent there. 2-3 hours. The question will be raised from the top and the answer will come from the bottom. And the question will be coming from the bottom, answer will be coming from the top. It was something wonderful. The whole ambient, there was no sound of any vehicle, no sound of anything. Calm, quiet, serene atmosphere. And then Papa started kindling so many positive thoughts. So indirectly Papa, when he mentions about Himalayan journey, he is indirectly asking us also, I am placing myself in different forms, in different places. So whenever you visit, make the best use of it. Just simply don't drive away, don't travel. Start enjoying it. These are all sights which you cannot miss, you should not miss. The great magician has provided before us umpty numbers of such beautiful and exciting scenes. Not merely exciting, thrilling scenes, which will also show something about him, his infinity, his diversity, his unity, and finally the expansive.
Swamiji, in the next paragraph, Swamiji, in the next paragraph, same chapter, third paragraph, Ram Kinkar was not able to keep up pace with the Papa. Next third paragraph, Swamiji, same 26th chapter.
Third paragraph. Walking at high speed, no?
Yes. In that, yes.
You are veritably flying.
Yes.
Even the difficult ascents were scaled in no time. Most of the time he was unconscious of his body. His mind was entirely merged in Ram, who alone appeared to him in those enchanting scenes. Good that you are reminded, yeah.
Next, in that, Swamiji, in that, the next one is Ram Kinkar, who had a heavy bundle to carry, complained of Ramdas' running speed, since he could not keep up pace with him. But Ramdas was not his own master, Ram was his master. So here, even a minor activity of just walking past is also attributed to Ram. Any activity, how Papa is attributing it to Ram.
The dedication is total and full. Total.
Swamiji,
yes.
This question about the conjurer and magician is also, I put it in my mail to you and I got the answer now. There is one more similar at Vrindavan when Papa is bringing about the flute and he thinks of Lord Krishna's charming, surroundings there. And there also it is something like a magic spell. The same magician is.
And the last line is very, very thrilling and touching. See how he enjoyed.
Swamiji, the great expansive inside and outside, that can be compared to great wide, Swami, great wide. The great expansive inside and outside can be compared to expansive.
How can we explain?
The great wide,
illimitable. There is no limit.
The great wide also similar to that, Swamiji. Great wide.
Same. In Vrindavan, the last time when he said, the very air seemed to be charged with the presence of that love incarnate Sri Krishna, and when soft breezes were blowing, they seemed to be carrying into Ramdas's ears the maddening music of Sri Krishna's flute, and the silvery sound of the tinkling tiny bells of his blessed dancing feet. Now and again a deep, soft, resonant voice would travel in the air, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. Ramdas lived there in a state of complete ecstasy and rapture. Days passed by unconsciously. The whole state seemed to be one long-drawn, sweet, pleasant dream. Everywhere, the message is, wherever God takes you, make the best use of it. Just don't float on the surface level. There is a purpose in motivating us to go to a particular place. Let us all eke out the maximum benefit out of it. Because nothing is unimportant, nothing is insignificant, nothing is irrelevant. We have to keep on hammering these three mantras. Nothing is unimportant, nothing is irrelevant, nothing is insignificant. Because everything is God's, everything is God's, everything is God's. Every day we are reminded of this. Yes, good. Anything else today?
Hariom Swamiji.
The
Himalayan journey தான் 24ல அந்த இவர் ராம்கிங்கர் பப்பாவை எல்லாம் கூட்டின்னு போறார். அப்போ ஒரு சன்னியாசிய பாக்குறா. அப்ப அவர் சொல்றது, this beautiful advice to Ramdas was to remain as long as possible for his sadhana in solitude. Than which there is no better means for control of the mind.
இந்த பேர எங்க ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகுது?
மூணாவது பேர
on one side of the river.
அல்ல, அதுக்கு அடுத்தது.
His beautiful advice to Ramdas was to remain as long as possible for his sadhana in solitude, than which there is no better means for control of the mind. Yeah, very important, yes. Here, there was a calm and peaceful look upon the countenance of the sage. He welcomed Ramkinkar and Ramdas. So, Papa met one Swami there, na? A venerable old sannyasi was patting upon the deer skin. On a peg was hanging his kamandal, made of a black shell, except a small piece of cloth and a spare cowpea, which were drying in the sun outside. He had no other clothing. On the sandy floor of the hut was a bamboo mat, and in a corner were two black stones, one big and the other small, for crushing almonds and such other hard eatables, having shells to break. There was a calm and peaceful look upon the countenance of the sage. He welcomed Ramkinkar and Ramdas with a cheerful smile. They seated themselves on the mat after prostrating at the feet of Mahatma. He offered some cardamom to the guests and had a simple and childlike talk with them about staying who would be found in the thick forest on the opposite bank of the Ganges, unexplored by ordinary man, where the number of years they might be performing tapasya. His beautiful advice to Ramdas was to remain as long as possible for his sadhana in solitude, than which there is no better means for control of the mind.
The next,
he was kind. In today's Satsang, there were so many such points raised. So finally, this one suggestion came that people who are living in cities like Chennai, in any other place, and who cannot do away with basic comforts, how are we to do something? So the suggestion came, at least set apart one day in a month. Go to a place far off from your place and deny something for you consciously and pray to him who is within you to give you the strength to hold on to it. And let that place be as far as possible not in a crowded place. So you can draw out your own what you call agenda, karyakram. How will you spend the day? Once in a month. Once in a month, early morning you leave and have some resolve that I will not have this, I will not do this, I will have only this, something like that. Nobody need know about it. It can be a silent tapas. And when we go to a place where we are not known, of course, switching off our mobile, we are disconnected with the common run of our routine and watch for ourselves. Have a simple text, small text. Whenever the mind goes here and there, it is better to bring it back to some good thought. Yes? And then apply it your own way. So this was suggested because nobody will be able to retire to solitude in the midst of various bindings. So they can still make some way out, no? When Papa says, when the Swami says that solitude is the only way to develop the level of, to bring the level of concentration to a higher degree. But what is possible for us? So one day in a month or once in 2 months, one day, something like that, we silently plan and go to a far off place, preferably a place where not so many people are there, a temple for example, a small temple where not much visitors are there, and spend our time with our own schedule, having, doing Ram Nam, reading something, contemplating upon it, taking the inward journey, and at the same time physically denying something. Physically. And trying to bring this in our mind that we are put on test. So whatever that happens, without grumbling, without complaint, we are able to accept. Many things might happen. Small trivial things. But how do we react? So that examination will definitely help us to know where we are and which are the areas where we can improve. Otherwise, this reading, nobody will be able to do it. His beautiful advice, Ramdas, was to remain as long as possible for his sadhana in solitude, than which there is no better means for control of the mind. So that's a wonderful message. And we can make it a reality in our life, provided we select such places. Definitely there are such places even in big cities, metro cities. Suburban areas you will get plenty, and in village areas you get plenty. Rural areas. But even in metro cities we can say there will be, because you are one among the many here, nobody will bother about you also. Everybody is preoccupied with their own life, their own world, their own concepts. So nobody will give attention to you. That is the one plus point. Another plus point is you select a place, a park for example, or a little away from the city there will be a small town, small temple, or a place where you can spend some time. And you do that silently, spend some time. See how the body reacts, see how the mind reacts, whether there is a control is there, and you try in your own way, whether the chanting becomes mechanical or chanting becomes, coupled with some deep thinking about him. And what is the experience? We were sharing the other day, spiritual picnic, like that. Need not be with any friend. Go alone or with your family members. Or like-minded people, 1 or 2 or 3. Not more than that, because again we will slip into some talk. We will make it a resolve that we will not talk anything about all these matters, excepting probably about a Mahatma, probably about the glories of Ramna, something like that, That which will help us to control the mind. So these are all some of the ways, Papa prompted the devotees here to make a resolve. So like that, whenever we read this portion, we immediately pause for a moment, stop for a moment, how to make it a reality in my life. Otherwise the normal habit is, only Mahatmas can do, what can we do? We are all preoccupied with so many commitments, duties, responsibilities, this and that. No, it's not like that. Papa has mentioned it so that it can become a reality to anybody. Probably not in this manner, in a different manner. The idea is solitude helps for the control of the mind. That portion we have to concentrate. Solitude really helps control of mind. So control of mind is very important for a sadhaka, for a bhakta, for an aspirant. So periodical solitude will definitely help. Yes. Yeah, we are almost nearing the 5 o'clock. So very good. Today also so many points were raised. Let us pray to him to keep the tempo alive and jot down what is possible for us to make it a reality in our life. Otherwise this charsha, this discussion or this session will become a intellectual exercise. It should not be. So we pray to him to make it a reality in our life, wherever we are placed. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Ram Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.